Hey guys, welcome to the LAN Party Podcast. Today is Tuesday, February 2nd, in the year of 2016. You're not going to stop me this time, are you? Halfway through my intro? Well, thank you.
No, sir. I had to make sure that the settings all accepted. It tried stopping me going, "Are you sure you want to name this the LAN Party Podcast? February 2nd?
Pretty sure.
Pretty sure. So, gaming news. Really not sure how much has happened in the past week, or not even a week actually. In case you missed the previous one, I went and edited an annotation into the video. We record live every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the only event in which that would change is if something comes up that we cannot be available. But I am now off every Tuesday, so I'll be able to be available at 4 p.m.
At least that's the plan.
That's the plan. That way we've got something consistent that people can actually go, okay, this is when they'll be recording live. And if you miss the live stream, that's usually up sometime mid-afternoon, the day after. So, let's see if I can dig up some gaming news. Fallout 4 updated yesterday, at least on PC it did.
It hasn't updated on consoles.
Uh-huh.
I'm having some issues with Fallout 4.
Why is that?
My followers are bugging out.
Never heard of that issue before.
I have them all at Sanctuary Hills. I'm going
Uh-huh.
to move them at some point. If I find them all to Red Rocket. See, the thing is, this is how it all started. I was just doing a quest, and I was like, you know what? I might as well do this Minutemen quest where I help out this settlement or whatever, because I haven't done one of those in a long time, and they probably need my help. So
They always need your help.
So I finished that, cleared out the ghouls or whatever, and it was like, return to Preston. I was like, okay. So I fast traveled to Sanctuary, and he wasn't there. And I was like, what?
I've had that happen, yeah.
Well, I was like, what the heck happened? And I looked on my map to see where he actually was. He was in Concord. He was in the Museum of Freedom.
Now, wait a minute. How do you know where he's at?
Because it tells me to return to Preston Garvey.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it has a quest marker
Yeah.
over it. So he's in the Museum of Freedom, at the bottom where, after you kill the Deathclaw, you go back in and talk to him. And Mama Murphy's like, Diamond City's your next route. The site told me so.
Wait, what?
It's like, I know, I've been there. I did things.
It's
So they're all just hanging out there. And then Piper vanished. I have no idea where Piper is. Dogmeat vanished too.
Piper and I think it's Nick Valentine, one of the other followers. I can't remember who it is though. Piper for sure though. They have a glitch where when they're at the settlement, they sometimes turn invisible, like
that's an
completely
issue.
invisible. And I would have never known that. I went, and sometimes it's hard to find them because VATS is VATS. It's not like it's just a dead giveaway. There's where people are. And I'd mash the VATS button, but it still wouldn't come up with anything. And the first time I actually found Piper when she was missing was when I went to cook food, and it said this object is currently being used by somebody else, and I'm like, no, it's not. So it turned out that, and then when I hit VATS, she was right there, and it was just the outline of her body. And then when I left VATS, the chat menu came up, and I talked to her, and I said, okay, follow me, and then she, poof, reappeared. It was like magic.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to find Dogmeat, because Dogmeat vanished.
Yeah, I've never heard of that happening to Dogmeat.
And then Dance and McCready are stuck in one spot. Like, they're not moving anywhere. So is the Voltec rep and Codsworth. And Sheffield. The only people in Sanctuary right now are Codsworth, McCready, Dance, Sheffield, and the Voltec rep.
Dan's trying killed me, so
Yeah.
I had to kill him.
But I mean, it's hilarious though, because it says on my workshop stuff that there are 11 people at Sanctuary. And for those of you who can count, that's only 5 that I can see.
That means somewhere there's 6 more of you just hiding.
Well, I mean, Preston's got most of them, and then there's Piper.
Whoo! Hold on, this is big news. Not really huge. I mean, it's not like it's the best game in the world, but if you are a Need for Speed fan and you play on a computer, PC, this excludes console players, log on to Origin, which is EA's PC outlet, and go to the On the House. This month, Need for Speed Most Wanted is the free On the House game. So, definitely, it's the 2012 version. Oh, wait a minute. This is the 2012 version. For a second, I thought it was going to be the 2005 version, but this is the 2012. Yeah, so definitely go get it. Open world racing game developed by Criterion.
Oh, by the way, EA has a sale on Battlefront right now. You can get the deluxe edition, at least on Xbox One, for $35.
I got it for $30, the regular edition on PC. I'm sure it's not that low on PC.
Oh yeah, but I mean, you might as well get the deluxe edition because it's $35.
Yeah, most of your fan base is playing on PC. I mean, I wouldn't say most, but a lot of it is.
I think it's mostly developed around to be a console game, because if you fly the
oh god,
planes,
dude, the freaking aircraft in that game are all janky. I can't play that. I can't do that.
It's a lot better on console than it is on PC there.
Well, I'm even using a controller, though, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, yeah, I can do this. This can't be that much different from flying in Battlefield.
Your reticle is just bouncing all over the place.
It's just bouncing all over the place, and it's not even turning, and I'm like, the hell's going on? Yeah, I gave up on flying really early in that game.
In Battlefield 3, I can snipe people when I'm in a jet. Why can't I do that with a spaceship?
Because.
Just because.
Just because.
Fuck you, that's why.
Yeah, that's exactly why. Let's see if I can find any news of serious interest. New World War II shooter announced for PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Interesting. Any news on Battlefield 5?
Yeah. No, it's going to be like Battlefield Lionheart or Battlefield, yeah.
Well, people have been speculating that it's either going to be Battlefield 1943 or Battlefield 2143.
Yeah. So, I'm not going to play the trailer because I don't really want to fill the room with unnecessary noise. This is a podcast, not a news channel. Well, I mean, the news channels to some degree, but a new World War II shooter is in the works for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. The game, called Battalion 1944, is a multiplayer shooter from a UK studio, Bulkhead Interactive, that aims to capture the core of classic multiplayer shooters while using the most advanced industry technology. The announcement trailer below contains some gameplay footage, but note that what you're seeing represents the game in its pre-alpha state, and again, not playing the trailer. Battalion 1944 runs on Unreal Engine 4. Why does Unreal sound familiar? What game do I play that Unreal?
Probably a lot of them. It's a pretty popular engine.
I think Assassin's Creed. Some of the new Assassin's Creed games ran on Unreal.
I don't know. Maybe.
And it lets you fight in real-world places such as the Sarenton and the Bastogne.
Bastogne!
Yeah, I'm not one for typing that stuff. And some of the weapons include the Kar 98, the N1 Garand, and the M1 Garand, and the Thompson. In short, Battalion 1944 is an infantry-based first-person shooter with an emphasis on raw skills. No grinding, no exosuits, just you and your skill as a player.
But come on, Black Ops 3 was so good.
Black Ops 3 was too good. I will never play a Call of Duty game.
I would rather play COD 4. I'd much rather play COD 4. I have an itch to play COD 4, actually. But all the servers are down. At least for 360 and stuff.
Okay, so it will also feature a system called Battle Rank, which is a global competition system. You have the option of joining a battalion, then competing in a season to earn cosmetic rewards for your character, weapons, and accessories. In the announcement videos, developers also explain that Battalion will use dedicated servers and employ an anti-cheat measure in an effort to create an as fair playing field as possible. Bulkhead is raising money for Battalion 1944 on Kickstarter. I apologize for my lack of being able to speak.
Use your words often.
It's asking for 100,000 pounds.
Euro?
It's the little, like, loopy L-looking thing with the line through the middle.
I don't even know. I think that's euro.
I think it is, too. To get the
It goes
project
to
off
show
the
us
ground.
Americans. Man.
Yeah. I just know them dollar signs. Funding just started today, February 2nd, and closes on March 3rd. You can guarantee yourself a copy of the game, which is expected to launch on May 2017 by at least pledging 13 of said currency.
13 of monies. 13 monies.
Yeah, we'll be like video games. Have you ever noticed that about video games? They never say dollars. Is dollars copyrighted? I mean, seriously, think about this.
The United States Treasury copyrighted the dollar.
Think about it, though. Not even in GTA do they ever say dollars. They say bucks, cash, dough, score, but they never say dollars. In the crew...
They use the dollar sign.
Yeah, they do use the dollar sign, but in the crew, your currency is bucks. Literally, that is your currency. They never say dollars. Even in the voice acting, you must have felt like a real idiot. You need $70 to buy this upgrade.
Well, people talk like that.
Yeah, but
I need $70.
You'll earn bucks for doing this. Each one of these events earns you bucks.
Well, that it still would sound really stupid if you said dollars. This event earns you dollars.
Yeah, I know. Why
How
couldn't you
many
at least
dollars?
At least say money. But yeah, have you ever noticed that they never say dollars in games? Like, I have never heard the word dollar spoken in any video game.
Now that you mention it.
I'm really curious. I wonder if for some reason it's just like, I don't know, weird. It's weird. The last Call of Duty game set in World War II was 2008's Call of Duty World at War, I think is what you were talking about.
No, I was talking about... That's
4. Oh, that's Cut 5, yeah.
Yeah.
See, I don't know the Call of Duty franchise because I hate it. If you'd like to see a future Call of Duty game return to World War II, you're not alone. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare developer Sledgehammer Games co-founder Michael Condrey would also like to play a game set during that time period. He sent in an interview back in 2014. Now it's getting into talking about COD, and I really don't feel like discussing that. However, the graphics on this new game look gorgeous. I'll have to show you after the podcast.
I think Call of Duty actually uses the Unreal Engine.
It's a pretty sight to see. The game looks really nice. Really well-rounded experience. That might be a game I'd be interested for. What? 13, if they are pounds, what is the equivalent? It's like what?
Euro.
Yeah, what's
Euro.
the US equivalent? It's like what? $14, $15?
It's something, I don't know. I think it's something like 5%.
You know what? I'm sitting here with an internet browser in
Why
my
not
hands.
just Google it?
Why am I not just Googling this?
Euro to...
Or whatever that symbol is.
Yeah.
I
Just
apologize.
copy-paste it.
If anybody in the future, because I know it doesn't look like I've got any current viewers in the room at the moment, but if anybody in Europe or, that general area who uses this currency is listening to this, I really do apologize. I just know my currency because it's the one that I spend the most of because I live in America.
Yeah. Sorry about being uneducated swine.
We apologize. Let's see here. Currency converter. We're going to assume that it is the euro. 1 US dollar equals 0.92 euros. So, let's say that there are 13 euros, which is what that game costs, not 0.13. 13. It would be $14.19.
Sweet. Okay.
Might have to donate. That actually doesn't look like a bad game. We'll have to watch the trailer after this, and then go back to doing what we were doing prior to this. Looping music. Joy. Loops. No, I'm trying to find... Oh yeah, I was going to talk about the Fallout 4 update, and then I just completely got off topic. Let me pull up the patch notes. I'm not going to go over all the patch notes just because
Half of
there's
them
a
you
lot of
probably
patch
don't understand.
notes.
Half of them you probably don't understand.
No,
See if
some
they-
of it I do understand, but
See if they address the my companions vanishing.
possibly. I do know that they did officially add the status menu for your settlers at your settlements in your various locations.
Well, that's good.
So they do. That is a thing now. It exists. So let's go to Fallout 4 Steam.
If you can't remember us talking about that before,
Nuggets.
the status menu is like whenever you go to your settlement, you open up the menu, it'll list all of your settlers and what they are currently assigned to do.
Yeah. Here we go. Fallout 4 1.3 update. Updated again. This updated yesterday, but we do the podcast on Tuesdays, and it was a Monday, so yeah. February 1st, 2016. New features. It added new ambient oscillation setting, HBAO Plus on PC. New weapon debris effects for PC NVIDIA graphics cards. Added a status menu for settlers in all of your settlements. It added the ability to rotate an object you are holding with the left and right triggers, and pressing down on the thumbstick lets you switch the rotating axis. So they're trying. It sounds like they're trying to make building a little bit more smooth. Obviously, it's still Bethesda's
Pretty
building, but yeah, I haven't played it since this update came out, so I don't know. Improved the ESDF keys remapping support while in workshop mode on PC. Let's see. Workshop fixes, quest fixes. I guess it'd be in gameplay fixes. Improved.
I don't know. It might be in
performance.
quest fixes. Because I did one.
Yeah, you
quest.
did that one with Preston. See
And
here.
he won't go back to Sanctuary.
General memory and stability improvements. That's a plus. Improved performance when looking through a scope. Thank God. I don't know if you had that issue on console because it's really.
Yeah, you
It's
zoom
consistent.
in and
But you zoom in and it's like it turns into a slideshow. And it got really annoying when I'm trying to be really sneaky. And then, no matter how high your skill is for sniping and stuff like that, you still zoom in and there's a little bit of movement even when you hold your breath. And I try to hold my breath right on the spot, and then it jumps. And then I'm like, okay, I release my breath and I move it and it jumps. And then I fire when I think I got it on the headshot, and it passes the guy's face because I ended up shooting 4 feet in the other direction because the scope moved. I'm glad they improved that because that was really, really bad. See, fixed an issues with NPCs getting stuck in power armor, getting stuck in the down state.
yeah, that happened to me. McCready got stuck in the downstate, and he wasn't. I wish he would have been sliding around on the ground, but he wasn't.
Oh man. Oh, this sounds like a pretty rough one. Playing a holotape found in the wilderness while switching your point of view no longer causes the screen to blur or controls to be locked. All I did was listen to a holotape.
Holotapes get pretty janky too, because if you open an item while you're listening to a holotape, it'll skip. Because they're holotapes. I'm pretty sure the way they record them and play them through the game is kind of like how they did the bards in Skyrim, where they have several audio files that are played back to back.
Yeah.
So it's not one continuous sound. They play a section and they have another section and then another section. So if you listen to a holotape and then you do something else, like open up a menu or something like that, it'll skip and this audio sections will start playing over each other.
I have an idea where Dogmeat might be now that I'm looking at this quest fixes. Fixed an issue where Dogmeat would stay at Fort Hagen after reunions was completed.
Yeah, okay.
Might make sense.
Yeah.
Might be down that direction. Fixed an issue where the player could no longer get Preston as a companion. Like that was a problem. Another settlement needs our help. God dang it,
I'm glad
Preston.
I don't have him as a companion. 'Cause
He's
he'd be
actually-
walking around and
I
he'd be
have him
like-
as a companion, and when he's your companion, it significantly decreases. Like, next to never do I hear him ask me. But as soon as I say, go back and chill out at my settlement, he's just like, every time I go to talk to him, be like, okay, time to follow us. Another settlement has sent word and they need our help. Always pick the worst times.
It's like, look, I got radio freedom so I could ignore it.
Exactly. I don't care. Enable
I'm gonna clear the entire fucking map. And if he still says, another settlement needs their help, it'll be like, bullshit.
Well, no, because what happens is I've had him send me to settlements I've already helped.
Yeah.
And they're just like, yeah, we'll back the Minutemen now. And I'm like, wait a minute. You said that the past 3 times I came down, you're still not backing the Minutemen? Well, then the Minutemen ain't backing you no more.
It's like, I'm going to murder every single one of you here. That's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to clear all the settlements instead of clearing everything around them.
No, because then he's just going to do this. He's just going to be like, we found another settlement that we could use.
Oh, yeah,
we found another location that we could use to build a settlement. And just be like, you know what? I'm just going to nuke the place.
Nuke the whole goddamn place.
Have you seen the t-shirts going around now? They have a picture of Preston's face and it's just like, another settlement sent word for our help.
Another settlement needs your help. God damn it, Preston.
It always makes me think, we're sitting here, General of the Minutemen. How often does the general go out and do everybody's work? If I am the general of a huge group of people...
Isn't it the general's job to tell people to go do things instead of doing them themselves?
I should be...
Another settlement needs your help. We'll get one of the 15 other fucking guys we have to go down there.
It's just like, Preston, when did I put you in charge?
Like, last I checked, you made me the general.
I didn't make you the general. Oh, well, I know, Exactly.
Now... As general, I delegate you to go delegate some other person to do this. That is not me.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's dumb. I love that game to death, but God, come on. Really? So, I guess this is...
I just punched the mic. That probably wasn't too good.
This is a little weird. Bethesda will host a second E3 conference.
Okay.
After a dramatic debut at last year's E3, which brought us news of a certain post-apocalyptic role game that we're sure you all know of, Bethesda has found it in their heart, or more likely their pockets, to host a follow-up at E3 in 2016. And this is a poorly worded article, and I just clicked on a different article, and
maybe you just can't use your words. You think they're gonna announce a new Elder Scrolls game?
Yeah, let me finish. And this after Pete Hines suggested it wasn't a sure thing, and it was a tweet, and it said, "Are you game? #BE3," which was Bethesda's E3 hashtag last year. And it was posted on February 1st, 2016, so yesterday. And it says, "All we have is an announcement, the date and time, June 12th, 7 p.m. Pacific time, and a lineup of stylized characters from the Bethesda portfolio. There's some power armor in there, a Nord, a demon, and yep, there's old Corvo too. I'll have my fingers crossed to hear more on Dishonored 2 before," and this is the journalist or the person writing the article speaking. "But if not, it's pretty unthinkable it wouldn't take center stage. Elder Scrolls 6, really? They're devs, not machines, and I'm a pessimist."
True. But I mean, their studio's getting pretty big. They'll probably have 2 separate teams now.
Yeah, they doubled.
From what I imagine, they'll have 2 separate teams, one working on... 3 separate teams, one working on Fallout, one working on Elder Scrolls, and one working on Dishonored.
Now bear in mind, Bethesda is an all-around company. They develop and publish.
Yeah.
So you've got...
Well, they've got it's a total different studio working on Dishonored, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bethesda's just publishing it.
Bethesda publishes it. I think, oh crap. Who developed Dishonored?
I can't even remember.
But Bethesda publishes Dishonored, so they do get a lot of credit for it.
Yeah.
But the only games that they actually develop
like
are Fallout and the Elder
Scrolls. So they might have 2 teams.
Because they just doubled their studio. They expanded and made a new studio, and so now it's not just like Bethesda Softworks. It's Bethesda Game Studios. Like Todd Howard's team.
Yeah.
Was Bethesda Game Studios, and now there's another one.
Is it just me that looking back on Skyrim, that Skyrim felt like a Fallout 4 tech alpha.
To a degree, yeah.
I feel like that's what it was. It was Fallout with dragons.
And yeah, and I've been watching. I mean, not actively, but when they first announced the game, and I was trying to get information on it that I could. A lot of people asked Todd Howard, did you take anything from Skyrim? And he's like, we don't really take stuff from games. Fallout was in development about a year before Skyrim. They started developing it, and then Skyrim kind of took center stage for them, and they full-fledged focused on it. And when they saw how successful some of the things in that game were, I think that what they did was they tried to implement that into one of their other big titles, because if you've got 2 giant titles, you've got 2 giant paychecks.
Yeah, makes sense.
So,
but I mean, some of the stuff kind of felt like tech.
Yeah,
because they had Cimerl. Excuse me.
Cimerl.
They had similar body rigs.
Yeah,
and similar. A lot of similar stuff, similar graphics.
I mean, the crafting system too is it's very, very reminiscent of Skyrim's. I mean, you have to have this many of this item to make this, and this many of this item to make this.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of things. So.
Well, I know, but I think, in terms of the way it feels, it felt like I was playing, across at that point, in terms of crafting between Skyrim and Elder Scrolls.
Skyrim
between Fallout and Elder Scrolls. I think the crafting system was really well. Now, if only they could, perfect the janky building system, and
they need a new engine.
Yeah, well, just wait.
Their engine's, showing its age.
It's still early 2016. We get the creation kit soon.
No, I mean an engine.
Yeah, I know.
Brand new engine.
But you've got the creation kit. People can make some beautiful things on there.
Well, yeah, but I mean, still, they're...
Yeah, you're not running on the same engine. But what I'm...
Their engine is starting to show its age. I mean, the next game should be on a new engine.
I think that's one thing I don't... Bethesda doesn't really handle change well. I mean, they've been using their engine for a long time. They used it in Skyrim,
they're probably...
and that was, 5 years ago?
Yeah, they're probably going to build a new engine from the ground up that they know inside and out.
Yeah, so...
So, yeah.
I guess we won't know until, 2021?
Or probably not.
No. Because, I know it wouldn't be that far away. Regardless as to what title they release next, it'll probably 2018, 2019.
I don't know, you said that a few years ago about
Fallout
Fallout 4.
I mean... Not just Fallout 4. Bethesda in general, they release a game every couple years. They just develop it for 7 years. I mean, you had Fallout 3 in 2008, and then Skyrim
2011
was 2011, and then Fallout 4 was 2016. So you got pretty consistent 5 years there. So yeah, it'd probably be 2021. Yeah, exactly.
Well, one of those gaps was 3 years. Then the next gap was 5,
years. Oh, yeah.
4 years, but still, a year
is
a very long time.
Between 3 to 5 years. So I mean, unless you're waiting on the next Fallout game, which is probably going to be, 10 years. Just saying. I mean, because between Oblivion and Skyrim, there was 7 or 8 years.
I'm not sure. I think Oblivion was 2005.
Yeah, so you had
2004, 2005, something like that.
7 or 8 years, and then between Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, and New Vegas doesn't count because it wasn't developed by Bethesda, you had 8 years. So, yeah, and as much as it's dreadful waiting for these games, I do think I really wish a lot of companies would do that. Yeah,
I would definitely prefer waiting to getting a taste of a horrendously unfinished product.
Yeah, I mean, and I am not going to argue the fact that Fallout 4 was not that it was perfect when it came. It was far from it. Every game is, no matter how long it took to develop. Every game was perfect, or every game. No game's perfect. Every game has its flaws. And
yeah. And I mean, half the time the bugs made the game, but still, there wasn't really that many game-breaking bugs in Fallout 4, which is good.
There were a couple when it launched.
Well,
there were one or two that I heard of that were bad, and they came out and fixed them.
Yeah, they patched them really, really fast. And then, You know, it came out in a pretty solid state for a release title.
Oh yeah.
But I mean,
and then you look at titles like Assassin's Creed Unity
or Battlefield 4.
or Battlefield. I think Unity might have it broken. Though.
I don't know, man. Battlefield 4 was basically unplayable.
Have you seen some of the terrifying things that
well,
came
yeah,
out of
it was
Unity?
terrifying, but you could still play the game most of the time if you
Where
didn't walk
the-
through the floor.
The body models wouldn't appear. You just
Yeah.
had the eyeballs and the teeth, and they were just like, "Hello, how can I help?" And it's just like, holy crap! It's like stepping into Resident Evil hybrid with Assassin's Creed. But no, and as much as I love Assassin's Creed, I do think they're restricting themselves in terms of what they can build, because it's like, we gotta make more money. We gotta make another game, and it's just like, you know.
Well, yeah, they're stopping their yearly release schedule.
Yeah, it sounds
Which
like
is
they're
good.
Yeah, that's good. And people used to argue, and I used to argue, and I'm starting to think that maybe it's not so accurate anymore, that each of the games was in development for about 4 or 5 years, because Ubisoft's huge. I mean, they are a huge company.
Yeah, I
They've
doubt
got-
they were in development for
but
4 or 5
4 or
years.
5
I think
years.
it was something
Look
like...
at Unity and Syndicate. They run on the exact same engine, and that's a really new engine.
Those things were probably cranked out in 2 years
Yeah,
as development. They were probably in development at the same time.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're talking development on maybe 2 years of development on each game. Maybe. And again, as much as I like having a new good game, like a new AAA title to play every year, I want it to be solid.
Your quality starts to suffer when you focus on
I want it
quantity.
to be solid. It's like,
There was a smart businessman who, his name was Wade Phillips. He said something pretty profound, you know. He said there are 2 things in life that will make you successful. Is get it done right and get it done on time, but never sacrifice right for time.
Yep.
So yeah,
That makes sense. But I mean,
so get it done right. That's the more important part.
and that's
of
why I feel so bad for DICE, because they had nothing to do with Battlefield's hard
yeah,
launch.
EA forced them.
EA
Forced
is
their
like,
hand.
you said that this was going to be your date to really, and they're like, well, look, we got a lot of
It's like,
stuff that came
yeah,
up.
we have a lot of problems, and then you know, right as soon as they forced their hand, a couple devs sold their stock in the company, which was a smart move on their part, as far as I'm concerned.
And then the game just crashed and burned. And I think I haven't played Hardline. I really don't.
Hardline's
want
okay.
it. I heard it had a
It's
okay
pretty-
launch.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid game though, but I mean, it just has an identity crisis.
Yeah, it's not Battlefield. Again, I don't think it's bad. And I argue this, and Colin, one of the guys that we're good friends with, would fight me tooth and nail. He's like, well, what is it? And it's like, and I'm like, it's got Battlefield on it, yeah, and it's a fun game, but it's not Battlefield.
Well, the thing is that's the argument. Is people are saying it's not Battlefield, and it's not a cops and robbers game.
Yeah.
It tried to do both, but it can't.
Yeah.
See, that's the problem. Is it has an identity crisis. That's
But
the only
it's-
problem with that game. Otherwise, it's a pretty solid game.
I played the beta, so I mean, obviously, it wasn't the solid, complete game. But from what I played in the beta, it was a
it's
fun
fun.
game to play. I mean, it wasn't a game that I could just go on and grind for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours.
I mean,
But it
it's
was
a game
fun.
you can jump in,
Sit down,
play
play a couple
matches.
hours, and then log off.
Yeah, waste a little bit of time.
But
It's a pretty fun game, but I mean,
it was not
has-
Battlefield.
Yeah,
it was
has
not
an
Battlefield.
identity crisis.
To me, Battlefield is Rush, Conquest, Team Deathmatch, and then long range, giant maps, vehicle warfare, infantry warfare, just
Yeah,
all
all
out.
out.
But that's not Hardline. No.
Yeah, Hardline again has an identity crisis. It
The
doesn't know what
maps
it
in
wants
that
to
game
be.
are tiny. They are super
Yeah.
duper teeny.
It doesn't know what it wants to be.
itsy bitsy maps.
You know what's funny is in Battlefield 3, they had some really tiny maps in a close quarters DLC, and one of those maps were pretty darn popular. They were actually really, really fun. But that was the thing, was they weren't trying to cater to other things.
Yeah.
They just developed these small maps that you could play in rotation if you wanted to. They weren't trying to cater to where you have medium-sized maps with vehicles in it, but
Yeah.
it's still mostly infantry focused.
So, one thing that I love and hate about Battlefield 4 that they did was Second Assault. I love all the maps they added,
Uh-huh.
but I have a love-hate relationship with Metro.
I think everybody does.
No, the thing that gets me...
It's just a giant murder fest.
Me and Nate play that game sometimes. Just, for shits and giggles, we'll sit down and play Battlefield. And we'll just click join random server. And it's always an ordeal when we get into a 24/7 meat grinder on Metro.
On Metro. It's like 2,000 tickets.
Yeah, and it's like a 2,500 ticket game, and we're just like,
Yeah, you get there in between, like, what, the B flag and C flag or whatever?
Yeah, and it's
where
just
the
right
ticket
there
counter, the ticket counter and the other place where it's just like this massive slug fest.
Oh, it was... We were playing the other night, and
It's
we were
torture,
on the stairs, and there was like... It was like each stair you had a row of ammo boxes, a row of med packs, a row of ammo boxes, a row of med packs, and I just got in on the fun and I threw a box down. I got 27 ammo resupply ribbons in that match. 27!
Could you imagine if you destroyed all the ammo boxes around it so it was only yours? You would have got 2,700.
Nate was just like, God, these people that are just running around. He's like, the guy that was leading the kill feed had 2 kills, 5 deaths, but he had like 40,000 points.
Yeah, was he just running around with
defibs in a med pack? He's just like, oh, I got you, bro. Oh, I got you. Here's a med pack. Here's a med pack. Oh, I got you. I got you. And it's just like revive, squad, revive, squad, revive. And it's just like... So yeah, if you ever really want some good points, Metro is good if you do it right and you're on the right team.
Yeah, otherwise it's just slaughterfest. In Battlefield 3, some of my highest scoring games were on Metro because, I'd play it. If you play Battlefield 3, play Assault Class. Otherwise, you won't do good.
Yeah.
Especially on those infantry maps. But, I mean, just it was murder, man.
Well, one of the things I like they did with Metro is you've got some of those built-in defenses with the Levolution that you can kind of activate where you can shoot those poles in the roof.
Yeah, but those only last for the first 100 tickets.
Well, we actually had one lasted about half the match. And I said something to Nate, I can't remember what I said, and he got mad. And I mean, it wasn't like, I hate you, man. It was just like, he was like, you're stupid, I hate you, and I'm going to shoot you and kill you.
It wasn't like, I hate you, mad, but he was like, I hate you, you're stupid.
It was kind of, it was like comical anger. And he realized that since we were on the same team and it was a normal game, he couldn't shoot me and kill me. So he's running past one of those posts, and he's like, and in his head, I'm trying to just envision what was going on in his head. He's just like, ding, 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 that's my way out. And he shoots the wooden post in hopes that, because I was running behind him, in hopes that it would fall and kill me, but it fell and
deaded him. It deaded him real good.
It fell and killed him. And I'm like, Nate, what was that? And he's like, I tried to kill you. Didn't work. Oh man, but yeah, I don't know. Next Battlefield better be good. I don't know. I wish they'd break away from EA and go to a different publisher for it, because EA is just gonna ruin that game. Because they're gonna be like, well, you said it'd be done on this date. Yeah, well, it's not. So let's push back. I mean, because The Crew was delayed. I love The Crew. People hate it. I don't know why, honestly.
Well, I mean, it was released after Battlefield 4, wasn't it?
Well, I think a year after, yeah.
Well, yeah, so they didn't want to screw that up, too.
Well, yeah, but Ubisoft doesn't publish through EA. They publish themselves. It was Ivory Towers, and then...
But still, they saw that shitfest and was like, yeah, let's play this the safe route.
So, but yeah, they delayed that from December to early January. Or November to December to early January. I think they delayed it 2 or 3 times. And I'm like, okay, as long as I'm getting a solid game when it comes out,
yeah, I don't mind. I don't care.
I've already ordered it. I've got all my bonus content. It's just a matter of when it comes out.
Every time somebody announces like a delay or something like that, the community goes up in arms and it's like, oh, I want this game now, blah 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 blah, and it's like, chill out, guys. Do you want a working game, or do you want a half-assed piece of shit?
And you see, that's one thing that I really hate about. I feel bad for gaming developers in that aspect, because they are never the good guys, ever. They are never, ever 0% of the time are they the good guys, because if you delay a game to make the game better, people hate you. And then when the game comes out, they will nitpick that game to find every tiny thing Wrong. And they'll be like, well, they delayed the game for 2 months and then they still let these bugs in. And then if you put the game out in its current state because people are like, no, don't delay the game, we want it. And then they bitch and moan because the game's got bugs.
Yeah, the game's an unfinished mess, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, yeah.
I mean, I feel bad for them.
Yeah,
because the game
it's
developer
got to be a lot of stress.
Always the bad guy.
Yeah, it's got to be a lot of stress going into that job.
So, yeah. That's pretty rough. Did you ever know, this is kind of jumping off topic a little bit, but I had to point this out because I don't think I've ever pointed it out on the podcast, and I don't think I've ever told you. Have you ever looked really close at the Vault Tech salesman in Fallout 4 in the beginning of the game? You know who he looks like?
Who?
Todd Howard.
Okay, yeah.
I wonder if he's supposed to. Or if it's just a mad coincidence.
Well,
Knowing Bethesda, it's probably not a coincidence.
Yeah, I mean, they probably used his face for something. It's like, hey, you want to be a guy who turns into a ghoul? Who has 200 years of Vault Tech sales experience?
Yeah, exactly. So, what's this Assassin's Creed Identity? Apparently it launches on iOS sometime recently or now or whenever. I don't remember. February 25th for $5.
You know, the strings in your Behringer look like they're just going to rust off.
That Behringer hasn't been played in a long, long time. Now we're going from talking about video games to instruments.
Anyways,
that
back
takes
to video
skill.
Game. Back to video game.
FPS campaigns can cost 75% of budget, Gears of War creator says. Not really interested in that. Trying to find something that we, I'm obviously not going to talk about games that Tyler and I aren't familiar with or interested in remotely, but obviously we've got to do some of that stuff.
You know, if I really hope that multiplayer only games like Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront, and all that good stuff, I really hope that people stop being okay with buying those for $60. Because it's really not worth $60 for that. I mean, if they start making a massive, if it's still multiplayer only, but they make a really good like story co-op campaign or whatever, then it might be worth $60.
Yeah.
But I mean, otherwise, if they're just throwing us into multiplayer matches and whatnot, it's not worth $60.
So as of yesterday, this article was posted February 1st, 2016. Star Citizen free to try before you buy for 1 week.
Okay.
If you've been curious about Cloud Imperium's game's Space Sim Star Citizen but want to sample the game before you put down the cash for it, good news. It's available to play free between January 29th and February 5th. That's a bit of an old news.
Yeah, a little bit. It's done in 3 days.
Free fly access has been enabled for all accounts, which means that anyone can jump into Star Citizen's alpha and experience the 3 unique parts of the game's overall experience. It was introduced as a part of the game's last update, which also included the following, not going to get into it, Arena Commander, Social Module, stuff like that.
Blah, 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 blah.
Stuff that I don't know of.
Have a military supercomputer to play this game.
Only problem, I've actually got 2 problems with this game. A, you have to have like a $3,000 computer to play it, to start with. And then you have to buy the ships with real currency because you can't buy them with fake currency.
Well, yeah, you can.
Well, but you have
Once the game fully launches, you can buy them with
Have you seen the prices in some of the ships' currencies?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's like $80 for a tiny-ass little flyer just to get from point A to point B. $80.
Well, yeah.
And Nate's like, I want to get this one for like $650. I'm like, why? I'm like, you are literally spending $650 on one game.
Well, yeah, that's why you don't do that. You wait till the game fully comes out so you can unlock it with in-game currency.
See, but Nate was actually like legitimately going to save up for the ship. And I'm like, don't. You're dumb. I don't know if he still is or not, but that game looks great, but it's not. I hope that doesn't remain that way after the game launches. It better not. I'm sure it won't, but if it does, it's going to not be very successful.
Yeah, the entire backers of the whole thing would probably go apeshit on them.
Yeah. There's no way that's gonna succeed if it continues to do that. So, yeah, don't. Just whatever you do, don't, because that would be a nightmare. I can't imagine any sane human being spending $650 on one ship in one game.
That would be like gaming suicide if the studio were to do that.
Yeah. Uh-oh. My screensaver just started. Just gonna have to go off my cellular device.
You could get up and wiggle the mouse.
I don't want to get up. Maybe I can just throw something over there and it'll wiggle the mouse for me.
Maybe, I don't know. You want to pick? Here's the remote.
Give me a cup holder. That's soft. It won't break anything over there. I have, not cup holder, coaster. I have like little rubber, soft, padded fog coasters. Tyler's having...
Dang it! It's getting farther away from me.
Oh.
Aha!
I'm gonna miss. Just watch.
We have 3 more tries.
Round 2.
That was close. Right over top of it.
I wish we had a video podcast going so you could actually see this. Round 3. Yes!
Success! No, it would have been hilarious if you would have like hit like stop or something on the keyboard.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
It would have been hilarious.
Now I just have to go over and get those after the podcast is done, but that's okay. So, God, what else? There's some, I really want to get more into these GTA car meets things, but part of me wants to make it more than just PC.
Yeah.
But I'd have to have somebody on each console able to host meets. So, that's one issue that I'm facing, but I also still only have 16 members. So I need a much larger admin team, because the problem with the crew that I was in, if you guys, any PC players out there that play GTA, if you've ever heard of car meets crews in GTA, you probably heard of the one that I am still part of, but used to be an active admin, and it was PC car meets, or car meets PC, and they had 2 crews. They just started a third, and both crews were full. I mean, we had 1,000 in the first one, 1,000 in the second one, and I think they're up to like 800 in the third one. So, the only problem was they had 5 admins to host meets to satisfy 2,800 people.
Yeah, you need to design a hierarchy.
Yeah.
You need several
That's what I plan on doing.
And then you need a large person at the top.
See, that's what my goal is. I'd be the owner and, head honcho in the crew. I kind of coordinate things. But I'd at least have 7 admins. At least. So that gives you 1 admin for each day of the week. So that way, because when I was an admin there, I mean, between summer vacation, which is when I was an active admin, and then, trying to get registered for school and work and all this other stuff that's coming up, and they're like, Austin, you need to host. Austin, you need to host. You need to host twice this week. You need to host tonight. And I'm like, I have work. I have a job. As much as I like my GTA 5 life, it's fake. It's not my real life. It doesn't
make me real money to buy real things.
I'm like, I am all for hosting, but it's got to be on my schedule. And I ended up stepping down because it was too much stress. And I don't want that to be an issue for my admin team. I want as much stress-free fun as I can, because I don't want anybody in my admin team to feel the way I did and just be like, God, it's such a hassle to host. He wants me to host 3 times this week. And like I said, at a minimum 7 admins. I'd like to have more, so that way I can cater to different time zones, different countries, because it's another problem. Most of the people in the crew that I was in were Europe. They were all in Europe. So they're like, time to host a meet at 8:30 p.m. and it's 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock here, and I'm like, well, I'm on my lunch break at work.
Sorry, but your luck.
So I want to have, enough so that every admin's not feeling pressured to host all the time. because that just leads to an unenjoying experience. Everybody's just like, yeah, I don't want to be part of this, because he's just going to be like, you need to host. So we're going to have our first kickoff meet when I actually have 25 members after my admin team's developed. Alright, we have 10 minutes left. And like I said, part of me wants to spread out to other consoles, but it would only be next-gen consoles for one, because we're going to have DLC-themed meets, and they've cut
a lot of the DLC.
All the DLC for the old consoles. You don't get them anymore. So, but then on top of that, you know, it would be kind of cool to have just a car meets crew that is universal. The only problem is coordinating meets would be a lot more difficult, because I'd have like either a Facebook page or a Steam page or something, and it'd be like, we're hosting this meet tonight, and you'd have to be like, this meet on this console at this time, hosted by this person, and it's just kind of a little bit too much more information than I'd like to have people know. But I also have to bear in mind that I'm dealing with, for the most part, sensible people, not people who shop in retail. So, as many of you don't know, I am a sales and warehouse associate at Harbor Freight Tools. So I've grown tired of people. I work, and every day I work, I lose a little bit more faith in mankind and its ability to survive.
Its ability to reason and logic.
I had, and I kid you not, this is nothing related to video games at all, and I don't care, because it's a funny story. We have these big 3-day sales every now and again. We usually call them parking lot sales, but in the winter you have your Black Friday sale, which is inside, your January blowout sale, which is inside, and then depending on the weather, your March sale is inside or outside. And we were doing our January blowout sale, and it was Sunday. And Sunday the store closes at 6, but your closing crew stays till 8:30 to clean up after the sale. So we close, and it's me, Ben, who's also a member of our Universal Gameplay Group people, and my manager, Steve. And we're cleaning up front. All the lights are still on in the store, because obviously you need the lights on to see. And some lady walks up and yanks on the left door. The left door is where our store hours are posted. Right at eye level. It says Harbor Freight Tools, store hours, 8 a.m. to 8 or 9 p.m., 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., and then 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the bottom. She's yanking on that door. And I get up and I look, and Ben's like, maybe you should go over there and tell her that we're closed. And I'm like, the hours are right in front of her. She can't figure this out. And this is in early January when it's like 12 degrees outside. And she stands there after yanking on the door, and she stands there and waits for about 15 minutes at the door. And then she goes and she gets in her car and sits in the parking lot for 5 more minutes and then drives off. I'm like, okay, cool, that's the end of that. Nope. She calls the store. I'm like, thank you for calling Harbor Freight Security. How can I help you? And she's like, yeah, I was just at your store. I tried to open the door, but it wouldn't open, and I saw people inside, but they wouldn't let me in. Well, the doors were locked because we were closed. Oh, what time are you guys closed on Sundays? At 6 p.m. It's posted on the doors. It's posted online, on Google, and on our website. And if you would have called us prior to closing, we would have told you that we closed at 6 p.m. Oh, okay, so I can't come down and shop? No.
We are closed.
So, yeah, people like that are why I lose faith in humanity. And that's a whole nother topic that's not even related to games. But, yeah, so if you ever hear me bitching and moaning about losing faith in humanity, just remember that story right there isn't even the worst that's ever happened to me. It's just hysterical how they can't read. They're literally, the hours are at eye level. Not my eye level, the average human height's eye level.
Yep. You know, whenever I worked at Philmont, I worked at a dining hall, and I was working with, kids 13 to 17. So, hey, they're kids.
There's part of your problem.
Yeah, and no one can read. And they're so what happens is whenever people come to Philmont, they come in crews. So they have, and each crew is assigned a ranger for them to tell them the rules and regulations and all that good stuff, and tell them what's what to do, what not to do, all that good stuff. And they bring them into the dining hall, and then they brief them on dining hall regulation, because it's like, okay, you're in the dining hall, you get up there, say hi to the servers, tell them jokes because they like being told jokes, and then whenever you're done, the silverware is over there, and put your silverware in those metal bins right there. Dump all your trash in the trash can, and then put your plate on the conveyor belt. Does that sound hard?
No, but I imagine it was.
And not only that, is we also have a big ass board that says silverware goes in the bins, trash goes in the trash cans, and your plate and everything else goes in the conveyor belt. So we get plates full of trash, food, all that stuff all the time. Silverware, lots and lots of silverware. It's not cool, man. They can't read, and they're told like 3 or 4 times what to do.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Really.
Oh,
really
it's
annoying.
even worse too when you give away free stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Harbor Freight gives away free stuff like screwdrivers, flashlights, stuff like that, and people just walk in with the coupon and go, "Can you show me where this is at?" I see 2 working eyes in your face. Screwdrivers are down aisle 4 where it has the big blue sign that says screwdrivers. Oh, well, I couldn't find them. Did you look? And then they walk down the aisle and I point them to where they're at and they're like, oh, if it was a snake, it would have bit me. And you'd be dead. Because they're literally right there. It's just, people can't read. I wonder, and now we can kind of relate this to video games. If when people are developing video games, why do they even bother putting the subtitles in? I mean, yeah, the deaf people, but honestly, do they even read? I mean, because I, as a gamer, I'll read the subtitles the first time around, and then I'm just mashing the buttons to get out of the cutscenes. It's just like, okay, done, yep.
You know what I think is really hilarious about Fallout 4? Is on the controller, the different buttons do different things.
Yeah, why is always a question.
Yeah, why is always a question. That's hilarious. But it's funny, whenever you're skipping lines of dialogues and stuff like that, your character will be like, yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But that's if you're mashing A. If you're mashing X,
yeah,
it'll do it sarcastically.
And
if you do Y, it'll be like, oh, really? And if you do B, your guy's like, yeah, shut up.
Exactly.
Shut up.
Like if you, I was skipping some lines of dialogue through Piper, and he's just like, reporters. And I was doing the same thing with Cure, and he's just like, stupid robots. It's just like, I'm like, interesting. Yeah, I found that out. That was funny too, because I'm just sitting there, Piper's going on telling a story, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even mean to activate this chat option. It wasn't like I wasn't interested. I didn't mean to activate the chat option, so I didn't really want to sit through it. And I'm sitting here mashing A because that's usually the button to just skip, but that's also the negative remarks. I think.
B is negative remarks.
B is negative. Well, I can't remember what. But anyways, I must have been B, and I'm pushing B. Maybe I was thinking to get back, and he's just like, yeah, yep, God, reporters. And I'm just like, well.
Being rude much?
So, that's my notification for 1 minute. So we should probably end with our closing announcements. So, yeah, we're going to be, you can almost 99.9% count on us recording every Tuesday at 4. So just tune in, 5:10 till 4 on our mixlr channel, and we'll be live 4 o'clock sharp. And that's about all I can hammer out. And I mean, there's not much other big news involving.
If you can find Piper for me, let me know.
Yep. If you got any solutions for that bug, and make sure I know this is on Mixlr, so if you enjoyed the podcast, follow us on Mixlr, and then also subscribe to my YouTube channel and like the video on the YouTube channel. And if we can get enough people consistently follow the Facebook page, so that you boot up a Facebook page, so that you guys can have a little bit more information and we can be a little bit more organized. Thanks for listening, everyone.